This dog right here, got it on with this dog right here, and they made this. And that photo was taken by the 24-70 on the Canon R7. You guys did awesome. Good job. Yeah, it's my boy Blue. That image of my wife along with those puppies were shot with the 24-70 2.8 RF lens by Canon. That was off of the Canon R7 at 70 millimeters, and the image quality that you get out of this lens, even on a crop sensor, is pretty darn amazing. Now, I know a lot of people will tell you, go with the 28-70, but let me tell you why I did not go with the 28-70. The f2 is very attractive, yes, but the dual image stabilization that you get with this and the Canon R6 Mark II and the Canon R7 is phenomenal, especially on the go. So is the weight of this. This is pretty light compared to the 28-70. The 28-70 weighs, I believe, over 3 pounds. This is around 2 pounds. 1 pound over the course of many hours, especially at an event like a wedding, does make a big difference. The bokeh from f2 to 2.8, it can be there, but guess what? Most likely you're gonna be stopping down to at least 4, if not 5.6, because you want everybody in the shot anyways. Right now, I have the 15-35 at 20 millimeters facing me at 2.8. Typically, it's the 24-70 looking at me at 24 millimeters at 2.8 at these talking head videos, and the sharpness is amazing. Now, a lot of you have just got into photography over the last few years, and you're not familiar what the world was like about a decade ago or even 20 years ago when I got into it. We're in a weird dark age then called SLR. That's right, no DSLR. It was just SLR. And you couldn't tell the sharpness too much on these lenses, and obviously you didn't have image stabilization. Your shutter speed had to be fast in order to not get a blur, and you didn't have that awesome IBIS like you do now with these lenses and with the image stabilization built into these cameras. The 24-70 Mark I of Canon's EF lenses was built specifically for the SLR, not the DSLR, and then transferred over to the DSLR mount. It was an amazing and sharp at the time lens, but as resolution, megapixels improved, you could tell that it wasn't as sharp as it once was. But really when it came to printing, all images looked pretty good. Then as everything started to progress in its beautiful megapixel world, we then got the Mark II, still did not have image stabilization, and therefore people resorted to things like the Tamron 70-200 G2. I was one of those, by the way. It was so sharp and had the image stabilization so you could have a little bit of shake and controlled well with video. So when we're coming into that 1080p realm and not even into the 4K realm, the images looked good, and they did blow away the Canon Mark II version of the 24-70 2.8. And again, the 24-70 2.8 Mark II EF version did not have image stabilization. Then finally, Canon joined the mirrorless world with a full frame EOS R, and that's when all of these new lenses started to be introduced. We have the 28-70 2.0, we have the 24-70 2.8, and we have the 15-35, again, looking at me right now at 20 millimeters 2.8, the 70-200 2.8, the 70-200 4.0, which is an amazing one. And then you have the primes. You have the 50 and the 85 and now the 135. These are all the L series lenses. And I have to reiterate, buy nice or buy twice. Unless you're a hobbyist and you're just growing into it, then the EF lenses are amazing and just kind of work your way in. And that also allows you to go into the third-party realm right now with EF lenses like Tamron and Sigma. I had to think of the other child. So Jared, why are you telling me all about the 24-70? Well, the 24-70 is kind of like the middle child that people forget. They bring their children over to the amusement park, they have a great night, they come back with 2 children. A few days go by, and then they realize, crap, I forgot my child. I'm not saying this by experience, by the way. And they realize, whoa, I kind of miss my child. I remember when my child did this for me, rubbed my toes. and massaged my bald head. Again, not personal experience. And I want my child back. And that's kind of this 24 to 70 is the middle child that you think, maybe I won't miss it. And then it's gone. And then you're like, I want my head rubbed again, baby. If you're a bald person, you will definitely understand that bald people like their head rubbed. It's kind of like a genie in a lamp. It calms us. Lots of anxiety up there. So the images I have gotten out of this lens has really honestly blown me away. And every time I want to make an excuse to sell it, to go in a different direction, I can't. I use it all the time for all my talking head videos, exception for right now because of the 15 to 35 on there. But it also partners well with the 15 to 35. The image quality is identical between the R7 and the R6 Mark II when it comes to these two lenses on there, so they make an excellent A and B camera with these lenses. Walking around with the image stabilization on and the dual IBIS, well, enough said, it's pretty good. And although the Tamron 24 to 70 G2 is an amazingly sharp and beautiful lens for a sub $1,000 price, you can hear the motors running. It doesn't focus as quickly as a native RF glass. And there's something to be said about the red ring of luxury when you come to Canon lenses. I've also been able to put on magnetic filters on this and also at the same time be able to close with the lid and get this hood on as well, which has been really excellent. The size and the weight of this lens is good too. The 28 to 70 2.0 is a very heavy lens. This one you could walk around town with. It may be a little bit heavy, but you're gonna be able to get through the day a lot longer without any kind of strain or annoyance when using this lens. So the logic I have had for a while, and many of you may have as well, is why don't you get the 15 to 35, the 70 to 200, and then do a 50mm prime? Because honestly, that's the only real focal length that you're missing in between those two. And although on paper that sounds like it makes a lot of sense, when you're in the real world, you do not want to change out your lenses a whole lot. So if you're at events, if you're on the go, if you're traveling, that 24 to 70 gives you a nice wide shot and a nice narrow 70mm at the same time. Environmental at 24, portraiture at 70. And stopping it down to 5.6, you get nice group photos in there. So to use the 24 to 70 like I do, this is I'd hate to say a workhorse, it's more of a semi workhorse. My workhorse is actually my 15 to 35. As many of you know that already, that is my bread and butter when it comes to making money in my business. The 24 to 70 is really my documentary and my talking head video lens. This is the one that I enjoy using. It's versatile. If I'm going out and about and I need something to document me, this is the lens that goes on there because we can go from 24 to 70 really quick. The IBIS is amazing. The images are great. The contrast is awesome. And the fact that the 82mm filter is identical to the 82mm filter on my 15 to 35, I can swap those pretty quickly. It is nice. Do you find yourself using a 24 to 70 or wanting to use a 24 to 70? Or is it something that just doesn't hit your need when it comes to filming and doing photos? I will be reviewing a KNF concept magnetic filter coming up soon. So if you would like to see more on that and you haven't already, please subscribe, like, and I will see you in the next video. And they made some magic. That's right, buddy. I'm proud of you. Oh, and if you're new and you need to catch up on some videos, check out these right here. They're kind of good. I'm not going to brag, but they're good.